Morning, friends. Great to have you joining me this morning. Pastor Chuck Blair of New Church Live. Wonderful to have you joining our little 10 minutes of morning calm. And today we're doing a little tip of the hat to our Quaker brothers and sisters, looking at this line, that of God in everyone. And that's really the core of the whole Quaker perspective, the Quaker Christian perspective. And it's an interesting one, and it's one that very, very readily dovetails in with Christian New Church perspectives as well, which is what I want to talk about today. So I want to start out just by taking a look at this line we're looking at. We've been looking at this Bible story of Abraham and looking at these different lines of this story. And he's gone into this land, he's fought some battles. And there's this story now going on where the comment gets made, give me the souls and the property take for yourself. And then it goes on to say the possessor of the heavens and the earth. And it's this idea of God saying, give me your soul, and it's a beautiful perspective, and it's a beautiful idea of like God asking for our souls. And it's not souls you know, it's not souls, in terms of what we might think of as a really bad horror movie where the devil shows up and like, well, I'll trade you blah 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 for your soul. It's not that. It's just I think it's this smiling, joyous, like God saying, like, yeah, give me your soul and you'll find rest. Give me your soul and you'll find peace. And the beautiful part is that our soul is already God's. And that gets directly into this Quaker statement. Now, the Quaker statement, again, that of God in everyone, we see that practiced all the time by Quakers in beautiful ways. New Church Live's located in the Philadelphia area. There's a lot of Quaker traditions in the area. William Penn, Pennsylvania, he was a Quaker. The whole idea of Philadelphia being a Quaker city, the whole idea of Pennsylvania being the Quaker state, hence the motor oil Quaker state, if those of you were geeky history people like me. And we see it all the time in their forms of worship. There's not a pastor. I know my kids went to a school where they competed against a lot of Quaker schools. Quaker kids will refer to their coaches or their teachers by the first name because there's not a hierarchy. And a fun one for me, finding out a few years ago, was that's why in Philadelphia it doesn't go first, second, third street. It goes front, second, third street. So in other words, on Front Street, because no one is first, no one's considered above other people because there's that of God in everyone. It's very, very much connected with this concept from the New Church that I want to read you folks. And here it's talking about angels. Talking about angels as they really get clear on what's on the inside. For angels, their inner self is the Lord's possession, and as so far as anything of their own, and think of it, our own noise and static and all that stuff. That's what they're talking about there. And as so far as anything of their own does not get in the way in such a situation, their inner self belongs to the Lord, and in fact is the Lord. So there is this part inside all of us that is that of God in everyone. And from a Christian New Church perspective, that's true for the worst of people, and that's true for the best of people. The worst of people have totally covered it over, damaged it in a sense, put it to sleep in a sense, but it's still there, and that's really important to remember. And for most people, they can access it more often. For most people, there is that of God that maybe they can understand. Now that doesn't, I think it's real important to remember, that doesn't make us gods by any stretch of the imagination. Boy, that's just like abhorrent to even think about. It makes us a creation of God, made in God's image and likeness. I'm looking out this beautiful scene out here and out of my home office, right by our beautiful home, and there's beautiful trees out there. There is that of God in trees. There's that of God in the squirrels I see running around. There's that of God. There's that of God in all things. And that, folks, when we start to see that, we start to see the universality of creation, and it does definitely start to shift us a lot and starts to get us to see things in a different way. It was interesting this morning. I listened to a lot of podcasts, and they were talking about the 7 deadly sins and sort of the way historically that's been understood. And it was looking at one in particular, which was the sin of sloth. And we can think of sloth as kind of like just being lazy. It's just like you're not working hard enough. And while that is true, that can be very, that cannot be very enlivening. That can be a damaging spiritually if we're really not working, if we're really not doing the things we need to do. And this particular theologian said, yeah, and it used to also be seen as this, that sloth was also seen as inattentive when you were inattentive to important things. So if there's that of God in everyone and that of God in everything, we have to be attentive to that part. And from a Christian New Church perspective, again, that's the part that we serve. We draw close enough to other people to see it. And when we see it, we seek to serve that. And it's not, again, it's not fix, help, serve. It's number three, it's serve. It's a very humble part that really seeks to serve the best in other people and to bring that best out. And folks, like all of us have a favorite teacher back there. All of us have a favorite coach somewhere back in our history. You know, a parent, really good parenting does the same thing. What did they do? Well, they saw that they saw that bit and they were able to breathe life into it and to help it come to the fore more and more, to help us to be attentive to actually the things that do matter, not slothful, which means inattentive to those things that are really important. So friends, the thought for today is this, is may have a day where you really can see that of God in everyone and that of God in everything. Again, noting that for some people, they're at a state of life where that's not accessible to them, sadly. And yet for many people it is. And how do we draw close enough to be able to see it, to be able to articulate it, to be able to breathe life into it, so that we can all be on this journey together, mutually reinforcing the better angels of our nature. That's simple. So that's the thought for today, folks, that of God in everyone. Go out and live it and see what happens. And with that, we're going to take a little breath. We're going to listen to a prayer bell and then have a little meditation, a little prayer, a little blessing, and then we'll say hi to folks on social media. So with that, dear friends, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thine kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, wishing you all the very best. And we're going to run through here real quickly and do a little hello to folks who might be joining us online. Hopefully we can do that today. Just give me a little quick second here. We were having a few little technical difficulties this morning, aka with my phone, but I think we are squared away now. Sorry. Sherry, good morning to you. I hope you're doing very well this morning. And let's upload to New Church Lives page. And again, folks, as always, you can leave comments later on in the week. It's wonderful to hear from folks. Marcus, good morning to you, my friend. Linda, good morning. Sherry writes, happy January to all. And I would totally concur with that. And a comment here from Linda: seeing God in everyone is sometimes challenging, but a good practice. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, it is challenging. Yeah, it is challenging, but I think we all know it's true, and we certainly all have moments in our life where we're certainly hoping other people are seeing our God-given gifts. Even though, despite the fact we may be presenting evidence to the contrary. So there you go, friends. So wishing you guys all the very best today. Have a great day. We will see you again tomorrow, and a little final word on your incredibly generous support of New Church Live. Like our content? It's funded by viewers like you. Please consider becoming a sustaining supporter of New Church Live today. Take care, my friends.